This is a very quick tutorial of what we discussed yesterday on how to pull data back from Centricity. We first started off with the database documentation and we looked at the different subject areas or the tables. So for example, we visited the patient visited a model, we looked at the model, so then we can see the relationship that other tables have with that model, such as this. Also with that, we can expand and look at the different tables. We visited the patient visit table and we linked that to the location reg table. And we also visited the patient visit process table, which I guess has all the procedures and stuff like that for each patient. As we discussed, if you have any questions, you should call healthcare and let them know what data you're trying to pull back, and then they can tell you what tables to link together. So let's go over how to link tables. The first thing we did is we're going to create a web query to Centricity. Obviously I'm off-site, so I don't have connection to the database, but I'm going to connect to an Access database that's going to return data. So we went to data, from other data sources, Microsoft Query. You guys are going to see if you're logged into Centricity, you're going to see something like a CP, POS, Centricity right here. Or if you're logged in at Dr. Sam's offices, it's going to say Centricity. Once you click OK, I'm actually going to go into a Access database, but you will have Centricity there. Click OK. It's going to connect to data source. I'm going to just choose anyone. I'm using Microsoft Access. You guys will be using SQL Server. Click Cancel, and now it brings everything up in Microsoft Query. You can add a table. Click Close. So remember, double click on each field and you'll start seeing data populate. This exclamation point right here is to execute a query, and we also went over how to filter. So for example, you can filter different costs and stuff like that. Okay, if I want to add another table, I click on this plus sign with the table. So for example, this would be a patient table, then the location reg table. Let me go back here. So then you can link different tables together. In this particular example, I only have one table, but if there was another table here, I would just grab this field and then link it over to the other table. To return data back to Excel, I'm going to click this exit button right here with the little door. I'm going to choose to save it in this first cell, click OK, and there's my data. So now I'm going to go to a sheet where I actually have some data at. So if you look at the bottom, this all NCC sheet, this is data that I kind of pulled back from some test data I was playing with. So let me show you how to create a pivot chart. So for example, if this was data from Centricity in this format, here's how you create a quick pivot chart for reports. Now at the end, this is how we want our report to look. This is kind of like sample data and stuff like that. So with a pivot chart, this data is linked to this data. But what I can do is here, I can filter it. So for example, right now I have a filter on month. If I just want to see, let me just scoot this over for you. If you look at the graph, the good thing about pivot tables is that everything in here will change dynamically. So if I wanted to just see everything, say for example in March and nothing else, I'll just unselect all of these and choose March, click OK, and you see how my chart changes dynamically. For example, the charge to, if I wanted to see how many charges AT&T is charging us, I can just do that and the chart changes dynamically. So to create a simple pivot chart, I'm going to do this as follows. So this is Centricity, the data that I pull back. Now remember, to refresh this data, the only thing I have to do is go data, refresh all, and it'll automatically go into Centricity every day and pull the data back whenever I need it. Go here, highlight it, Go to Insert, Pivot Chart. It's going to say Select Table Range. I'm going to keep it as is, but I'm going to choose here New Sheet, a new Excel sheet. And so now I have my pivot chart. So now when I start adding data on this side, now the good thing about this is that you can specify which type of charts you want, line charts, bar charts. You can change the type over here. But I'm going to keep everything as a line chart just to kind of show you how it is. So if I'm going to choose on this side, county IDs, I want to match that up with, let me scoot this over. Month name, say for example, and then say for example an engineer ID. I need some type of quantities, trouble tickets. Do this. Those are fields I want to look at, but then for the value fields, put that over here to run the summation. So the axis fields, I have 3. I'm just going to get rid of this one. And then see, now I have the list of people and the number of tickets that they handle per month. Now that's automatically populated over here in my pivot table. So now for January, February, March, but now what I can do if I want to filter out certain months, so for example I just want to see January, then I just have January for these particular engineers. And that's how you create a pivot chart using data that you pull back. Now the good thing about this is that I never have to go back into Centricity. The only thing I have to do is right click my pivot table, just say refresh, and what that's going to do, that's going to actually go into Centricity and pull all my data back so everything is dynamically. So then if I save this spreadsheet and come into it every day, the only thing I have to do now, actually I can go up to data and just say refresh all, and now my data is pulled back automatically from Centricity. Thank you. I hope this was a great quick